What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today's episode we're gonna continue working on the Aprilia. I finally figured out the issue that I was having with the bike. Pretty much was whenever I insert the key into the ignition and I rotate it to the on, the gauge would not turn on. I knew the bike was fine, the engine would turn on. I hot wired it to turn it on, so that was not my concern. My concern was, why is it not turning on? Once I plug in, I insert the key into the on position. After doing some research and talking to people on the Aprilia forum, I finally figured out what was the issue. The issue was not the damage, a little crack that was here in the cylinder. It actually came from not from the antenna. The key was for in the antenna, but it came from the bottom part. So in the bottom part of the ignition, there's gonna be this cable that connects to the gauge, and it comes in this. So the problem was that whenever you switch the key to on, in the bottom, this metal piece right here, I don't know if it's showing good, it turns. Then this piece in the bottom will rotate. As soon as this moves, the bottom piece, this is connected to it, and it rotates. So this thing that rotates touches the pins on this, passing the current. The reason why it was rotating, but the thing is this little stick right here was broken off from the base, so the stick was just rotating and not the base. So that was the whole point of there no power to the bike. I just went ahead. I thought it was, in the beginning I thought it was maybe the cables looked fine. I went ahead and took this part off, and this came out and this came out. That's how I noticed it. I went ahead and put some epoxy, Gorilla epoxy, left it healing overnight. So I'm just gonna go ahead and rebuild everything back on into the ignition and just test it out. So let's go ahead and get started with that. If I couldn't get the ignition switch to work, I was just gonna go ahead and do a kill switch, which is pretty much a press button, and pretty much a switch where you just press it and the bike turns on, and you press it again, it dies off. Pretty much what they got in track bikes. But since I got this working, I might as well just keep it. I don't want to be running the risk of somebody maybe taking off with the bike. So now we're gonna get to the tricky part. I'm gonna go ahead and put the key on. So, well, since this rotates, I want to make sure that whenever it rotates to off, the bike turns off, and if turn it to on, the bike turns on. This here. I want to put this here. So this is what I was talking about. So at the very end, there's gonna be this piece together right here, like that, and then this thing's gonna be poking out. Once you open this thing just pops open. These connectors are gonna be inside. Will be inside, hiding this. You gotta pop this one out with a flathead, and then this one will just come right out. The piece that was broken was this tip. I had to put some epoxy in there. and call it a day. We're gonna stick this one in first. Put this one in here. I'm gonna rotate. That's it. So you can see the gauge turned on. Gauge turned on. That's fine. Go. Put this in here. Now we're gonna, since the bike is on right now, we'll keep the key in the on gauge, in the on position, and then just try to this goes here. Okay. There we go. There you go. That's working. I'll put this one in here. I did talk to a guy who had an extra piece, extra cylinder he's not using on his race bike, which he generously offered it to me. So once I arrive, I'll be switching out this part. I don't want maybe the epoxy loosening up while I'm riding and then having to deal with the non-working bike. I finally received my ignition. Alright, it was actually donated by somebody of the Aprilia forum. He was kind enough to give it to me. All I had to do is just pay $10 shipping, and he 2-day mailed it. So now it's here. The problem that I'm having, well, it's not a problem. All I have to do, I'm gonna try to go ahead and remove the locking mechanism from this one and putting it on this one. Hopefully everything goes out right and I can use my original key. If not, all I have to do is make the antenna memorize the chip in this key, so I can just go ahead and turn it on. The downside to that is that I won't be able to use the booth, well, the what it's called, the rear trunk of the bike. I have to use the original key, which I have the original key. Although the ignition's fixed, the only reason why I'm switching it out is, I will show you more into detail, but if you guys remember that the little stick that came out and connected to the bottom end of the locking mechanism that turn on and turn off the bike, I feel like that thing will break off again, since the epoxy, so many switches, it might break off. So that's why I'm switching this one out. If I'm not able to switch the locking mechanism to use the same key out of this one to this one, I'm just gonna go ahead and make the antenna memorize this key, so I don't have to worry about it. All I have to do is just carry the extra key if I want to use the booth in the back, but that's fine. So let's get started with it. Let's go ahead and take off the locking mechanism from inside the original ignition to the donated one, and remove the antenna and everything else. now that I removed the antenna and the cover from the original part, just go ahead and remove these 2 screws. This should come out. Pretty simple. That aside. Trying my best not to get confused with the original. It would be better if I had marked it. Next thing you're gonna do, go ahead and remove the locking mechanism. So once you get that removed, or once I get this removed out of the other one, I'm gonna try to go ahead and swap it over. Hopefully just a simple switch, and I don't have to worry about anything else. If it doesn't work like that, I'm just gonna go ahead and make the antenna recognize the new key and just rock it with it. So let's go ahead. Well, I got the donated part out, and I'm gonna go ahead and take off the original part out. Putting this one in here. All right. Putting this one to the side. I'm gonna go ahead and test it out with the. Original part. So I got the original lock inside the donated lock, which is pretty simple like that, and I got the donated part locking mechanism inside the original part. So let's go ahead and test this out before anything else. Hopefully this works. So I don't have to use a new key, or use 2 keys. One to turn on the bike and the other one to lock the booth and unlock the booth. So let's see. Here I got the donated part with the original locking mechanism, and this is the original key. There we go. That's it. It's fine. Now let's go ahead and plug it in. Hopefully this works. Let's go ahead and plug in the antenna as well. And let's see. Moment of truth. There it goes. Perfect. That's the original key. That was it. That was pretty simple. So just remove the locking mechanism out of the old one, put it on the new one, on the new cylinder. That's it. It should be working. If anything happens, I still got the original locking mechanism. I got the original key. So hopefully I don't have to worry about, hopefully nothing breaks, everything's good, and let's just put it back together, and that's it. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.